Welcome to Trending Update USA. I am Steffan, and today's developing story has shaken the tennis world to its core as Aryna Sabalenka, one of the sport's fiercest competitors and most powerful personalities, delivered an emotional reveal that left fans stunned, the crowd silent, and the tennis community scrambling for answers. It was supposed to be a routine media session following a practice run, a calm moment before the next stretch of the season, but what unfolded was something no one expected, something that instantly turned into a global conversation as reactions poured in from commentators, analysts, former players, and supporters who have followed Sabalenka's journey from the beginning. Her words were heavy, her voice noticeably shaking, and even for someone known for grit and intensity, it was clear that she was carrying far more than the world had realized. For years, Sabalenka has been a commanding presence on the court, a player who thrives under pressure, who shouts, fights, battles, and delivers some of the most electrifying performances in the sport. But today, she showed a side of herself that is rarely seen, vulnerable, emotional, and visibly overwhelmed. As soon as she stepped into the media room, the energy shifted. Reporters who had been preparing typical questions about upcoming matches, rankings, and training suddenly found themselves witnessing something raw and personal. Sabalenka took a deep breath, clasped her hands together, and paused longer than usual before uttering her first sentence. The room grew quiet. Cameras clicked, but no one dared interrupt the silence. She began with a simple statement that hinted at the emotional weight she was about to release. "I didn't think I would have to talk about this today." What followed was a revelation that left the entire room stunned. Sabalenka shared that she has been battling emotional exhaustion and personal challenges off the court that have deeply affected her ability to train, focus, and compete at the highest level. Fans have long seen her fierce exterior, but the truth, she said, was far more complicated. She admitted that she has been struggling to keep herself together in the face of mounting expectations, intense touring schedules, and the lingering effects of several private matters she chose not to detail further. She spoke about sleepless nights, moments of self-doubt, pressure from critics, and the overwhelming demand to remain strong even when she felt anything but strong. Her honesty resonated through the room like a tidal wave. Reporters lowered their hands. Even the staff members around her seemed momentarily frozen. It was as if the world had stopped spinning for a moment. The crowd that had gathered outside the media area, waiting for autographs and photos, suddenly went silent as news broke of what she had said. Many fans had noticed Sabalenka's recent emotional fluctuations on court, and assumed it was simply competitive stress. But today's confession painted a far more human picture. She said, "People see the wins, the losses, the trophies, the ranking. They don't see everything I'm trying to carry behind that." It was a sentence that instantly spread across social media, repeated thousands of times within minutes. Clips of her emotional reveal began circulating online, with fans sharing messages of support and empathy, realizing that behind Sabalenka's powerful forehands and fiery presence is a person with battles unseen. As she continued speaking, it became clear that she had been on the verge of this emotional release for some time. Sabalenka admitted that she had kept pushing herself through season after season, match after match, hoping the mental weight would lessen on its own. But instead, she found herself gradually becoming overwhelmed. She described moments where she stood on court, hearing the cheers of thousands, but internally feeling disconnected and alone. The contrast between public strength and private vulnerability had worn her down, she said, and she finally reached a point where staying silent felt impossible. She wanted to be honest, not just for herself, but for the many athletes and fans who feel pressure to appear strong even when they are struggling. The moment she wiped away tears, barely able to continue, was when the entire crowd watching through screens and live streams felt the intensity of the moment. Sabalenka's voice broke as she spoke about how difficult it has been to balance everything expected of her. She described her fear of disappointing fans, her anxiety surrounding constant comparisons to other top players, and the emotional toll of being constantly scrutinized in the public eye. "I know people think I'm tough," she said. "And I am. But even tough people get tired." It was a sentence that echoed across the tennis community, sparking discussions about athlete mental health, burnout, and the hidden emotional battles that elite performers face behind closed doors. But perhaps the most devastating part of her reveal was when she admitted that her struggles had reached a point where she considered stepping away from tennis temporarily. The room gasped when she said it, and for a moment, she stopped speaking entirely, as if the weight of the statement had hit her all over again. She reassured fans that she had not made a final decision, but that the possibility had been on her mind more than she ever expected. The idea of Sabalenka taking a break sent shockwaves through the tennis world. Her fans, who have watched her fight through some of the most intense matches in recent years, never imagined she might even consider stepping back. But today, she made it clear that mental well-being must come before anything else. This emotional reveal sparked immediate reactions across social media. Former players such as Victoria Azarenka, Caroline Wozniacki, and others expressed support, praising Sabalenka for her courage and honesty. Analysts began discussing how this could shift global conversations about mental health in sports. Fans from around the world flooded her Instagram and Twitter with messages of love, reminding her that she doesn't need to carry everything alone. Even rivals like Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek reportedly reached out privately, offering their support. Gauff, who has competed in several emotional matches against Sabalenka, expressed deep empathy, saying that the tennis world often forgets how much pressure players are under every single day. As Sabalenka spoke, she also revealed something that shook the crowd even more. She had been dealing with these struggles long before anyone realized. She admitted that even during some of her biggest victories, she was silently fighting internal battles. She described moments where she walked off the court with a trophy, smiled for cameras, gave interviews, and celebrated with fans, yet deep inside, she felt overwhelmed and exhausted. This contradiction between public joy and private pain was something she had kept hidden for years, and today was the moment she chose to release it. Sports psychologists were quick to comment on the significance of her honesty. Many noted that her confession highlights the hidden mental health struggles that athletes endure, often without recognition or support. They emphasized that despite athletes appearing strong, resilient, and confident, they are still human beings who carry emotional burdens like anyone else. Sabalenka's reveal, they said, could serve as a watershed moment in the conversation about mental health in professional sports. Some even predicted that governing bodies might be pressured to improve mental health support systems, introduce better scheduling flexibility, or revise protocols to ensure players are not pushed beyond their emotional limits. As the press conference continued, Sabalenka emphasized that she was not seeking sympathy or pity. She wanted understanding. She wanted people to recognize that strength does not mean the absence of struggle. She reiterated that she still loves tennis deeply and wants to continue competing, but she needs to take care of herself first. She thanked her team, her family, and a few close friends who have stood by her during her darkest moments. She expressed gratitude for the fans who have always supported her, especially during times when she felt weakest. The way she spoke, the sincerity in her tone, and the tears she fought to hold back made it clear that the emotional reveal had been weighing heavily on her for a long time. The aftermath of her announcement has been overwhelming. The silence that followed her final sentence was unlike anything ever felt in a tennis media room. Reporters who had prepared to ask standard tennis questions instead sat quietly, moved by the vulnerability she had just shared. Even as she stood up and walked away, the weight of her words lingered in the air. The hallways were quiet, the fans outside didn't shout her name as she passed, and the entire atmosphere felt heavy, emotional, and deeply reflective. The world had just witnessed a rare moment of raw honesty from one of the strongest athletes in the sport, and it left everyone thinking. In the hours following the emotional reveal, the tennis community continued to react. Commentators analyzed her statements on major sports networks, describing her reveal as a wake-up call. Fans created hashtags dedicated to supporting her, and mental health advocates praised her for using her platform to shed light on an issue often ignored in high-performance environments. Even non-tennis fans began engaging in the conversation, recognizing the courage it took for her to speak out publicly. As the story continues to unfold, one thing is clear: Sabalenka's emotional reveal will not be forgotten anytime soon. She has opened a door to a deeper discussion about mental health, vulnerability, resilience, and the pressures that come with being a world-class athlete. Whether she chooses to continue competing immediately or take time away to regain her emotional balance, fans around the world are standing behind her with unwavering support. Sabalenka has always been a fighter on the court, but today she showed that her greatest strength might come from her willingness to be vulnerable. For now, the tennis world watches closely, hoping that Sabalenka finds the peace and clarity she deserves. Her emotional reveal may have stunned the crowd and left the world silent, but it also sparked a powerful reminder that even champions have moments of struggle, and even the strongest athletes sometimes need to take a step back and breathe. As the days ahead unfold, her fans, rivals, and the entire sports community will undoubtedly continue rallying behind her message, supporting her journey, and waiting to see what comes next for one of tennis's most remarkable and resilient stars. And as always, Trending Update USA will follow every development and bring you the updates as they come, with honesty, clarity, and respect for the story unfolding before us.